Awesome. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Atheist Experience. I'm the guest host this week, Jeff D. The co-host today is Don Baker.
Hey, good to be here.
Good to have you. It's April 11. We're broadcasting live from Austin, Texas. This is a call-in program. The number will go up in a little while. If you're not watching the show live, you can tune in on Sundays from 4:30 to 6 p.m. and watch the show on Time Warner or Grande Cable Channel 16, or you can watch the show over the internet from almost anywhere in the world via Ustream, and if it's working, the Channel Austin stream. For more information, you can visit the show's website at www.atheist-community.org. This show is sponsored by the Atheist Community of Austin, a non-profit educational organization promoting positive atheism and the separation of church and state. The ACA has weekly meetings at Romeo's on Barton Springs Road every Sunday at 11:30, except for the first Sunday of each month when we have our lecture series that takes place at the Austin History Center. We had one of those today, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see. The Austin History Center is located at the corner of 9th and Guadalupe. Lectures are at 12:15, and I guess the next lecture will be next month. I don't have the correct information here in front of me. But for information on that and on other things about the ACA, you can visit the www.atheist-community.org site. In addition to this program, the ACA also sponsors a bi-weekly audio podcast called The Non-Prophets. That's Prophet's. Yesterday's show should now be available. Wait, there wasn't a show yesterday. My information is correct. They didn't have a show yesterday, but past shows are available at www.nonprofitsradio.com, and there will be more shows live in future. You can find the schedule there. If you don't manage to contact us over the telephone today, or if you don't want to, and you can send comments and questions to our email address, tv@atheist-community.org. In addition to the media outreach programs, the ACA also sponsors a number of social events, including Atheist Happy Hour on Thursdays at 7 p.m. at the Dog and Duck Pub at 7th and Guadalupe, and dinner after this program is at roughly 6:30 at Threadgills at 301 West Riverside Drive. And that's our announcements.
Yeah. And the dinner, folks are welcome to come down after watching the show. You can come down and visit with us and have dinner and break bread and all that good stuff.
That's an open to the public thing. Just don't come down there to preach at us or proselytize at us. If you just want to have a conversation, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Now, we were talking just before we went on the air here. You and I have never done, as far as we can recollect, done the Atheist Experience together before.
That's right. We're both long-time contributors to the show, but we've never been on together.
Though once, 500 years ago, according to you, you were on the audio show
right,
with
the Non-Profits,
me.
Right,
the
back when you were running that.
That's been quite a long time. Well, what do you have for us today?
Well, today I'd like to talk about the prosperity gospel. Okay. And I just find it very kind of humorous because, one of the ironies is there are a lot of religious people don't believe in evolution, but you can take a look at the prosperity gospel and it's an example of religions evolving. Religions adapt to the needs of their hosts and they adapt to their environment, and schisms are like speciation events where you get two different species. And because of all these changes and all these variations and all these evolution going on, there's no omniscient God. There's no obvious fixed thing that they're commenting on or related to, mm-hmm. right? If there were a God, there wouldn't be so much variation and all these changes and things.
And the prosperity gospel is a particular variation?
Is a particular variation.
Well, what's it all about?
Let's look at some of the variations in human needs, right? Humans have a need for love, and there's many churches that go that. If hate is your thing, you can go join one of the Fred Phelps churches or whatever. If you want to have multiple wives, you can go be a Mormon. If you want to screw little boys, you can go be a Catholic. Or if you're into Schadenfreude or enjoying other people's suffering, then you can be a rapture theologist. But if you're into greed, if greed is your thing, prosperity gospel's for you.
Did you happen to notice in this, I think it was this past week, the KKK came out with a press release repudiating Fred Phelps and his God Hates Fags organization. When the KKK has to, feel
out of
it's
its way to
necessary disassociate itself from you, wow, it's pretty amazing. But so what's the prosperity gospel thing all about?
Well, that's just it. I want to talk about what it is, how it works. Excuse me, why it appeals to people, maybe some of the biblical support and what some of the implications are. And you'll have to beat up on me if I'm going long.
Go for it.
So prosperity theology, or prosperity doctrine, or the health and wealth gospel, is a belief found among tens of millions of people, centered on the notion that God provides material prosperity for those he favors. So if you're God's little buddy, he's going to shower you with gifts, and that believers have a right to the blessings, health, and wealth that they can obtain, and they can obtain those blessings through positive confessions of faith and the sowing of seeds through faithful payments of tithes and offerings. So there's sort of two parts to the prosperity gospel. One is the expectation, living and breathing the expectation that you are blessed by God, and that you deserve these blessings and these sorts of things. And if that means going out and buying a new car that you may or may not be able to afford, that's part of the deal. The flip side of it is you got to make God happy by tithing to the church and giving to your church a lot. And that's the sowing the seeds part of it. And there's many ministers in this prosperity gospel will claim 100-fold return. That if you pay $1 to the church, eventually you're going to get $100 back. So it's really a very almost crass sort of financial thing.
So they're telling their followers to have an expectation of income?
Yes.
As long as they pay their tithes and do their blessings?
Yes.
And then they go out and actually spend money before they've got it on that expectation?
That is true, and then that's a problem, isn't it?
I would think so.
You would think so.
Well, not if it was all true.
Yeah, so here's a quote by from Osteen, who is a famous preacher here in Houston. One of God's top priorities is to shower blessings on Christians in this lifetime, and by the corollary assumption that one of the worst things a person can do is to expect anything less.
Oh my gosh!
Isn't that interesting? So how it works? How it works from an outsider's perspective is it's a heads I win, tails you lose sort of thing. So you have a big congregation, you preach this gospel, and if anybody in the congregation gets a promotion or a new job or some sort of windfall from great Aunt Irma dying and giving them money in their will, whatever, you claim that as a success. And this is God's blessing to that person, and gosh, it's working, and so on, right? And you really tout these successes, and it's a kind of a confirmation bias thing. If somebody doesn't get a payout, then there's a couple things you can do. You can say, well, it'll come. It's
right.
Come.
It's too soon.
Or you just need to be more faithful, and you need to follow the Scripture more, and these sorts of things. Or you need to tithe more. Right. So to blame the victim.
It's like a Christian version of The Secret, which was the same kind of crap.
Exactly. There's a lot of similarity between these. Is this expectation, this wishful thinking, and living this way. And if it doesn't work out, there's just something wrong with you.
You know, that guy, the secret guy, got arrested for getting some people killed in a, what do you call it, an Indian sweat lodge.
Right. He was putting people through the paces in order to make their religious experience more meaningful or something, right? Yeah. Ended up killing how many of them? He killed them?
I don't recall off the top of my head. I don't want to just throw out a number by guessing, but it was several.
Okay. So it's kind of, from my standpoint, it's a transparent scam. So that's what I see. And this is a relatively new thing. Oral Roberts kind of cooked this up. Although, there's threads of it long ago, right? The Calvinist theology is about, you can't change anything, and if somebody is rich in this world, it's because God likes them. There's strains of that going way back.